In this lesson, we are going to talk about lists. So there's a few ways that you can create a list. The most basic type of list is a static list. And you create that by typing list and inside of the closure, add in your views. And it will automatically make a list for you. So I can add as many of these views as I want, and it will just make a list for me like this. Very simple. What happens when I want to make a dynamic list? Well, let's make a list of something that's interesting. So I want to make a list of all of the students in CS 356. And instead of putting them all right inside of my content view, I'm going to create a new struct. And to do that, you want to open up this panel on the left. You can do that by clicking this button here. And inside of the main folder of your project, create a new file. And this is going to be a Swift file. And I'll call it students. And create. And then I'll create a new struct and call it students. This doesn't have any protocols over here, so you don't have to worry about that. And I want to create an array of students. I will call it a student list. And this is how you create an array in Swift. So now I'm going to grab the student list from Google Sheets. So I'll select all the student names, copy, and I'll paste it right in here. There's a neat trick where if you hold Option and Shift at the same time, you can drag down and your cursor will be selected on multiple lines. I want to make these all into strings, so I'm going to add parentheses. Okay, and I need to do that at the end as well. And I also need to add some commas. And just to be quick, I'm going to delete a few of your last names. Sorry, please don't be offended. But here is my full list. I don't think I need that comma at the end either. Okay, now back in my content view, I'm going to say let students equal students. This students is an instance of the struct that I just created called students. And in my list here, I'm going to add these parentheses. So what I really want is a list of the students. So I'll get my students struct, and inside of that struct I want my student list, and then I want here this to say something like student, but this is going to give me an error. And the reason why is there's two things. First thing is I need to tell it how to identify each of the students inside of this student list array. Now each person's name is different, so I can just tell it to identify it by the string itself, since each object inside of that array is a string. To do that, you add ID, \dot, and self. And this will then tell SwiftUI how to differentiate each of those students in the list so that it knows how to lay them out. I also need in here my closure to write student in. And this could be student, it really could be any keyword that I choose. And I want this to be the student name. So now when I resume, it will show all of the students' names. If I do a live preview, I can scroll through this list and see all of the students' names. And that is how you create a very simple dynamic list.